Welcome, welcome. We back again, YouTube and Facebook family. Back with another episode of High School Football Final, the number one high school show on North Central Florida. I'm your host, Charles Jackson of Jackson Sports LLC, Jackson Sports Media LLC. I'm here once again by main man Robert Mack of Williston Sports Network. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing great. Although, reeling from the little loss we got handed to us in Citra, man. Ugh,
I
ugh.
know
I
it was
was
tough
out
feeling
to
for
a
you to come
great
back home with it. Well, before we get into it, I appreciate everybody tuning in for another episode of High School Football Final. This is the Week 9 review as we get ready to shift gears to the final month of high school football of the regular season. So, I do want, before we get started, I want y'all to like, subscribe to my channel, like, subscribe to my brother, Mr. Max, Williston Sports Station YouTube channel. And we're trying to grow this brand. We're trying to be consistent with the content. I'm so excited for what we have in store for tonight's show. We got a lot to talk about, man. From what's up the contract negotiations with the FHSAA and Pitbull Stadium for the state title for Class 1A to 8A. We're in the final few weeks before the selection Saturday. Uh, who are contenders? Who are pretenders? I'm so excited to go over tonight's show with you. But the first thing first, what happened down there in Central between the Red Devils and the Colts, man? You was on here for that game. Let's talk about that game. Wilson falling short, 14-20. Go ahead and tell us your feedback from that Friday night's game.
Well, Williston lost. Simple as that. Got beat. When we were sitting here previewing the game, I was like, they started out strong. Citra really started out strong with the season opening 3-1, and out of that 5-game road stretch they had, it just looked like they kept regressing. But I'm like, when you get right at home, right? And the boys got right at home. They were executing on offense. They were able to throw the ball in the middle of the field with some pretty good efficiency. Although Williston's defense really stepped up and got multiple fourth down turnovers, right?
Right.
Stopped them plenty of times, but the offense could never find success. And regrettably, they might have lost their quarterback for the rest of the season. And Mr. Jazikoff took a hard hit, had to get carted off. Not really sure exactly what's going on there, but prayers out to that young man because he was battling, he was a warrior, and he even was had his teammates telling him it's like, hey man, it's all good. You've been working real hard for us. You've been trying your best for us, and we're gonna try to get you a dub the rest of the way through.
Oh yeah. So we talked about with the quarterback being out for the foreseeable future. What were your thoughts on the game ahead between the Colts and the Red Devils? I know there was a lot of miscues by the Red Devils on was pretty much a dominated game by Williston up until the point they could cash in on North Bears mistakes.
So North Marion actually played a pretty clean game, and
Oh, okay.
Williston made a ton of mistakes. Now, don't get me wrong, North Marion didn't execute everything they wanted to execute. There were some tunnel screens they were trying to do because North Marion spreads the ball out a lot compared to what they used to do in the past with the Colts, and so they couldn't get their screen game running really well. The Red Devil defense stopped them a ton of times, but early in the game, the pass rush was getting there for Williston, just not quite in time. And so there were 3 different drives that were extended by roughing the passer penalties on 3rd and long, right? And so it was just absolutely killers. Once they got the penalties under control, really the second half was a much different story. Just nobody could score, and we are talking big hit after big hit, sack after sack. Run stopped in the middle. Like the North Marion defensive line played super strong in the middle of the field, where Williston usually can line up and have their way with people, and North Marion wasn't having it. That defensive line came to play, and you could tell it was ready to go after that wing T. And Williston even tried some single wing and couldn't get that going. And when they tried to pass the ball, the North Marion defense was ready for it.
Well, when you play a team like North Marion, you don't want to go in there half stepping. Williston, I'm not saying Williston can have stepping, but it was sloppy football throughout. Unfortunately, Williston's kind of banged up. You're now 4-3. What are your thoughts going forward as you press towards postseason play? What are your thoughts about Wilson's chances of making another solid run in postseason play?
So a lot of it's going to depend on the health of Mr. Jazzkoff. We had a young guy step up, try to fill in his shoes late, but it was a big difference, huge loss on the offensive side of the ball, and the defense kept giving the offense the ball over in positive territory. Right? I mean, they could get the ball in positive territory and go three and out, and that's completely unlike Williston. So really the future of Williston is going to go on the health of their QB, unless they just happen to all of a sudden really try to run the ball down Newberry's throat this week with a single wing. And even then, I think with Newberry's defensive line having one of the best defensive lines in the state, regardless of size or classification, Williston could be
Great.
staring 4-4 in the face. And staring 4-4 in the face, it's without a confirmed 10th game coming in on the extra week of the season being extended. Who's to say that 5-4 isn't a realistic possibility, and whether or not they've got any momentum heading in if they can't get that extra week scheduled, and all of a sudden they're just sitting at home.
Speaking of extra week, I want to get to that's the next topic of discussion. The FHSAA released that November, I think the last week of the regular season has been extended for another week for teams who was
Yes,
looking to
sir.
get out of the game, who was affected by Hurricane Milton or Helene. Like such as my art school, you kind of had to cancel the game against Hollis Christian because of Hurricane Helene. So my question is this: is this a good thing or a bad thing that the FHA did with extending the regular season for extra week? And what are your thoughts about it?
I love more football as long as we get more good football, right? So I think that there's going to be an opportunity for a lot of the teams that needed that extra little tune-up right before the playoffs. The bad part is you could also be a team that's suffered some injuries, and all of a sudden you're just trying to find some solid ground going into the playoffs, right? So it could cut both ways, or you could be looking like you're in real good shape and go into that extra week, and all of a sudden you're out a couple of starters because just freak injuries happen. So it's but that's every week for football. So I'd say as long as we get more football, it's good by me.
Hey, good ball is always good ball for me. Now the question is, look, now you get an extra week.
Mhm.
Schools are hustling to 5 games, like teams such as Union County or other schools that missed out on games during the last three hurricanes. What was the mindset of not only coaches but ADs trying to shuffle last minute opponents toward the end of the season? Not only help their playoff resume, but get more action for the guys that's getting prepped up for a deep playoff run.
Yeah, I mean, how do you find the opponents that also had their games missed and everything too? It's like what happens with your contractual obligations with athletic
Yeah.
department? Who's going to get the home game and get the majority of the ticket revenues? There's so many things that go into it that I would not be surprised at all if we don't have a whole lot of games get scheduled that week, because some of the teams may not want to uh, do that trek. I know the Williston game was down in Hardy County, and they probably got hit real hard with Milton. And who's to say that Williston even wants to make that trek down there anymore if the contract hasn't out? So there's no telling. We'll see what's happening behind closed doors with some of these games, and see who really can wheel and deal a little bit, because some athletic directors are going to earn their stipend in the next week or two.
That's so true. A lot of contracts really kind of got messed up because of the hurricane. It's Florida. We all know this
Hmm.
time of the year, football season, hurricane season. It's
Yep.
all going to play a part. But this year has probably been the most impactful of recent when it comes to football scheduling and hurricanes. We had three hurricanes within the last 2 months, I think, of each other. One, two of them in
Yeah,
the last 2 weeks of
crazy.
each other. So a lot of schools that was projected to play 10 games probably only got to play like 7 or 8 because of Milton, Debbie, and her lead. And Like contract negotiations probably got canceled because of that. A lot of schools get big time games got canceled due to that. I'm looking at the comment down below. Really appreciate everybody who comment. Please, every time we go live, please comment, ask questions. We would love to answer your questions live on the show. Um, Keisha Denise commented down below said we can't get a full schedule on Hurricanes. That is so true. When you're in Florida and you play football from the month of September to January, you're gonna get hit with hurricanes. I don't care if it's one hurricane, two, three. You're gonna get hit with some kind of either tropical storm or hurricane going to affect football, so you have to learn how to adjust. As a school, you got to make sure you try to find, and it's hard for powerhouses such as Hawthorne, Williston, Newberry, Union County. It's hard for y'all to find games last minute because of a hurricane or a certain natural disaster. So one of the commentators said, "Why would you try to play Hawthorne as a makeup game?" I say, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa! I'm not ducking the Hawthorne Union County battle, but let's call it spade a spade. We'll see y'all in the playoffs. I don't think that's a game we should have at the end of a regular season. I think we should have a game kind of like a tutor to get. But not saying we're ducking Hawthorne. Not saying Hawthorne ducking us. What we're saying is we need to get the teams ready because I don't think a last minute big battle between you got and Hawthorne will be beneficial for both schools at the end of a regular season. Where your team's trying to get healthy for a player. We all know that's gonna be a battle. It's gonna be a fight. So get a tutor game, get like a little fixer upper game, so that get your team healthy, get your young guys some more minutes because JVC's over with. Get your guys healthy, back ready for a postseason run. So I think the hard part about it is finding opponents last minute, getting the contracts to line up last minute, getting a time, a date, and a place last minute is gonna be hard, especially if you're a bigger school playing against a smaller school. So
Yeah, nobody wants to be the get right opponent, right?
come
It's
on
like
now.
nobody wants to be that homecoming opponent. Nobody wants to be that get right opponent, right? And it's all a matter of if you can make the dollars and cents work. But this isn't D1 CFB where all of a sudden
Come
there's a
on
three
now.
hundred thousand dollar check at the end of the rainbow, you know?
I can tell you one thing, man. If we can get these games in, that everybody have an even amount of share of games played, and not one school get jeopardized. Let's say if you're a school that played 11 games this year, but you're 5-2, or sorry, 6-5, but your opponent is 4-0 and had 8 games, but 4 games I can't do Hurricanes, but they had the better. Who would you? I'm saying that stuff like that happens all the time. Teams don't get even by
Yeah.
the share games. They get the short end of the stick because of unforeseeable circumstances. We always see that happen. We're not saying that the 6-5 teams not worthy of making the playoffs, but when you put them over a team who's undefeated for playing those games due to unforeseeable circumstances, could be a stadium needs to be remodeled, or a hurricane, or anything can happen. Anything happens in the world. So we have to be considerate and take everything as a case by case standard. Most of the time this season, hurricanes. We have 3 hurricanes in 2 months. A lot of people have to adjust. Some games got moved to Saturdays, like the Dixie County Bloodstown game last week. You got some games we played on this past one. We had a bunch of them played Monday. We got
Yep.
GHS playing tonight again for a second straight Monday because of Hurricane Milton, because they had to push back the Lake Weir game from a Friday to a Monday. There's 2 weeks in a row that GH had to play on a Monday. It's like, Mother Nature, give us a break. Just come back to basketball season. Come basketball season. Why you gotta affect football season? Like, is that a point now that I'm kind of expecting a hurricane to hit during football season at least once or twice a season. That we're gonna eventually have like a extra bye week, like at the end of
Yeah.
October. It's every time.
You already saw it in college football. There's 2 bye weeks now, right? Who's to say that in the foreseeable future the FHSA doesn't give that guidance and says, "Hey, here's 2 bye weeks. Make the use of them."
And it's like at a point now because college football, you got multiple bodies in the same 2 weeks in a row. Like it's crazy. And it's like I'm reading the
Yep.
comments. I appreciate all the comments down below. Soldier Barbara, I appreciate you for the love down in the comments. Keisha Denise, I appreciate your comments. She said I can't wait for to get back to old days when districts was involved. And districts, you
Thank
can't run for
you.
nobody in districts. Nobody can.
Couldn't run.
Nobody's safe. I'm telling you, teams like Bradley's plays Lake Butler every single year. Back in the day, Lake Butler and Start was mandatory. You can't duck and dodge that game. Now you got Start, Dodge, and Lake Butler now. Yes, I said start down because Coach Thomas on multiple occasions have reached out to start to
Yeah.
play. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, 2 years ago, Start played him up for the first time forever. The coach that was there before he resigned. There was a contract agreement to have a home series for the 2022 season and the 2023 season. So last year, Bradford opted out that contract because the new coach didn't want to play the vote. Because they had a contract set in stone for a home series for 2022 and 2023. That's the same year we beat Columbia and Stark in the same year. We beat Columbia and Stark the same year, 2022. That's the same year we lost to Chiefland. No, and then we lost to Chiefland in the regional final, or we lost to Matt. It was 2022. We lost to Chiefland. Because that's the year we lost to Chiefland in the regional final. 'Cause we beat Columbia and Stark in the same year.
That's a
And
that's a that's
now
that's a combo.
yeah, I mean, both of them. I never hear about how packed those games was. Not only it brings fans want to see these matchups. Fans want to see Union County versus Hawthorne every year. Fans want to see Newberry versus Bradford every year. Fans want to Newberry and Bradford. That was a movie out there. From what I heard, it was so many fans after Newberry and Bradford game. We want to see games like that more often. We don't want to see Union County playing against Hollis Christian Academy or Newberry playing against University Christian. You know what I'm saying? We need to see these old school rule 1A rivals go head to head every single year without ducking and dodging. Williston Union County, Newberry Union County, Hawthorne Union County, Hawthorne Williston, Hawthorne Newberry. Like, we need those games back. But a lot of schools are using this new format to duck and dodge teams that they usually play every year. They get easy dubs.
I mean, I remember growing up going to multiple I mean, just year after year. Williston Union County, going to Williston Dixie County, going to Williston Chiefland, and there's only one of those rivalries that still exists every year. I mean, we can't match up like we used to. And I mean, we got Gerard Warren on our staff this year, and I
Congratulations, by the
remember
way.
yeah, right, and I remember when some friends of mine that I played with, Mike Barcinas and Jeb Reed, were having to line up as true freshmen starting on varsity against big money in the middle of the field and having to go toe to toe with them. And it's like they weren't ducking them. They weren't saying, "Hey, it's too tough for us," right? Because like back then, it's the whole model around high school football. When it's too tough for them, it's just right for us. But now everybody's like, "Nah, let's duck." Let's dodge. Let's get out of these old things because it's not a good matchup anymore. And it's like, what are you telling the kids? Right? What are you telling the kids? Oh, it gets tough. Let's schedule something else. Right? I mean, I can't go out and say, hey, my bills aren't paid. Let me schedule something else.
Right, it's like so frustrating, and I appreciate all the comments down below. Once again, she's a very adamant Hawthorne fan because her son plays for Hawthorne. She's saying some real stuff in the
Mhm.
comment section. She said it does not make sense for schools to travel 3 hours for a game, and you have all the local teams, which is so true. Why does Hawthorne have to go away to IMG to play IMG when you have Newberry, Hawthorne, Union County, Santa Fe, uh, you got Interlock in your backyard. You got Eastside. You got Behold. You got all these schools in your county or within a 30-minute radius of you, but they don't want to
Mhm.
schedule you. So now you have to go drive 4.5 hours to play a school you got no business playing. Even though I'm not saying Hawks had no business playing ING, they won. But the principle is, why do you have to go waste your gas to go play a school that's nowhere near your time zone and you have 6 to 7 other schools within a 2 hour radius of you? What sense does that make? That is one or two things. Either the coach don't want to play that coach because they're scared they're gonna lose to him, or two, it's an animosity between the two schools that they feel like it's a security threat not to have the schools play each other. Because there's been some schools over the years, like recently, I think it was a security threat between Columbia and Madison County, and the kid had a gun at the game, and they were threatening to shoot one of the players from Madison. When you have schools like that don't like each other, they said we played each other or play a neutral site. You know what I'm saying? But most of the time, you got schools that with a 30, 45-minute radius of you, and you scared to play them. The fans want to see it, the players want to see it, but the coaches want a clean resume to go to playoffs with undefeated record. But you see why a lot of cool schools in the past got robbed of good seating because they play cupcake schools instead of playing the school that you're supposed to play funny every year. You can't get mad that you get a third seat in the playoffs, but you're playing -1A schools every year, such as, you know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying, bro?
Right.
You're
No,
playing schools
I
that
completely
Bell and
agree.
Lake we should be playing, but you ain't playing the schools that you know for playing. But you get mad at
Mhm.
the committee though for putting you on the lower seat, but you don't play nobody, man.
Right.
Make it make
What
sense.
what's the whole thing? They ain't play nobody, Paul. Like going back to some old about hey, play nobody, Paul. Like
Come
we
on,
can sit
man.
here and say all we want, but everybody's ducking all the schools when they get good, and it just stinks, man. Because now it's like I'm posting all these old games on my YouTube, and most of the kids are going like, we ain't ever seen Dixie County play Williston. Why should we care? And I go like, hey, I went 4-0 against Chiefland, and I even right now, none of the kids there can say they went undefeated against Chiefland. I'm like, okay, all right. So it's like that's at least one where we have that tradition and we have
Right.
that history, and we're losing so much tradition and history because we don't have the districts. Heck, even if we went back to old conferences, right? Like get that whole Swanee Valley Conference and stuff back, and get all the schools that used to play each other and build each other up. Man, stop ducking each other.
I think when this whole New Man alignment ruined a lot of rivalries. You know, when
Yep.
New Man went to 2A and New Man was out of rule, a lot of schools that usually play on rule level, they don't play no more. Outside of now, you play Hawthorne and Fort White. You don't play Union County no more. You don't play.
Yep.
I'm not saying it's Newberry's fault. It's the committee's fault. It's FFA fault. Well, when you do this stupid realignment, there's no way in the world you would have Newberry at a 2A school. Not saying they're not worthy of being a 2A school, but they've been ruled for so many years. And now all of a sudden, when the moon
Right.
tees up, you had Leighton Butler, and for God's sakes, that 1A playing in school like Shabada Madonna or University Christian or Trinity. You had the only school that was still 1A at the time was Madison and Hawthorne. They had Williston 1A, they had County 1A, they had Newberry 2A. You know what I'm saying? They moved Santa
Right.
Fe. Well, Santa Fe technically should be ruled. I would think Santa Fe should consider dropping down the rule because they're so bad where they are right now. It's not their fault. They can't play against the competition. If I was them, I would consider dropping out of rule to get to play against people your speed. They can compete. What is it, 3A, 4A? Yeah,
Yeah,
3A, right?
like they're not the same. Like, I mean, in terms of the quality athletes, they are on par with rural schools. They are
Oh, no
not
doubt, no doubt.
they're not classified like they don't have the same pool of kids that a normal 3 or 4A school is going to have somewhere as a 3 or 4A school in Orlando, right? Like they just don't. They just don't, unfortunately. I mean, and they match up
Agreed.
well with people like Williston and Union and Newberry and everything, but they can't play us.
Right. And the thing is though, because I believe they're I think the 3A, but it's like I'm so I love the color. Keep the energy coming. The local games do make the most money. I mean, you talk about not having money for your program. You know how many people would love to come see these major background rivals come see y'all beat each other up? You'll see a Union
Right.
County Bradford, Lake City, Madison, Lake City, Swanee, Williston, Trenton, Williston Chief. You know what I'm saying? Trenton Bell, Trenton. You know what I'm saying? Ocala Vanguard versus who's the other good team? Ocala. It didn't be that good of them. But you know what I'm saying? You have those schools
No,
playing in the back. All the Ocala schools play each other. Literally, all of them do. But
hey,
you got these.
completely agreed. Like Williston Chiefland was 2 years ago in Chiefland, standing room only. I showed up 45 minutes before the game with my family, two kids, wife. We didn't have nowhere to sit. I mean, there were thousands of people there, and they're trying to say it's not good. Like, come on,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
money's
yeah.
there. The money's
The
there. The
money's
money's there
there.
for the matchups.
The money's there. The question is the ADs or the because most let me be honest with you, most ADs are head coaches of football. Most of them are the football head coaches. I'll be honest with you. There's not many too less of them that has a head coach and there's an AD above them. They're usually wear two hats. So
Right.
a lot of these AD/head coaches don't want to see these money making because they don't have an easy trip to the state championship game. And to be honest with you, most of the time that they look for an easy route, they still don't get to the state championship game because they still run to the same team they've been ducking dodging all year. So make it make sense. You still got to see them sometime in the playoff. You might as well go, you know what I'm saying? Might as well make the money out of the regular season. You gonna get your little, you gotta play them again in the playoffs. Get yourself, if you know how they play, get yourself ready. Then you'll see them again in the playoffs. So what's the point of the easiest schedule when you start to run to the same teams again down the line in the postseason? Make your money when you can.
Well, I tell you, man, we could go on about this for hours, man. I miss old high school football in
Me
Central
too.
Florida.
Me too. I grew up with the Union County Bradford rivalry was, standing around, not only in basketball, but football. You have fans want to fight each other, players want to fight each other, coaches want to fight each other. Man, listen. You have the listen. If these schools are, it's really the rural area. It's not all state of Florida. It's the smaller schools that's ducking and dodging each other. These big schools make their mission to play each other every year. Bulos GHS, Eastside GHS, Eastside Bulos. You know what I'm saying? They see each other every year. That's mandatory. But why is that mandatory for the small schools? Why not mandatory for these schools that's literally 30 minutes within each other's radius or 45? You know what I'm saying? Why Dixie not playing U County anymore? Why you kind of gotta go way to doggone Hudson to play somebody when they can play somebody locally? Why Hawthorne not go to IMG or Tallahassee to play Florida High when they got teams locally? Why does Newberry have to go to California Guard when they got schools they gotta play locally here? You know what I'm saying? What's the point?
Tell me why Williston doesn't go to Union County with Pruitt on the sideline. Tell me that wouldn't sell tickets.
That would be
Right.
listen. I've been waiting for that game since he got back to Florida. Why is you cannot push that game? That would be the marquee game of the year if Coach Pruitt comes back to his old stopping grounds and play his first
Thank you.
job.
Thank you.
Why did I make it? Why did I make it? It's gonna be a contract game. Just make it
Mm.
happen. The fans want to see it.
You can't tell me that guys like Andrew Zhao wouldn't even come back for that game,
He was
right?
there
Like,
before. That's his old coach. Right.
I
Oh,
don't know. Hey,
I want to do a shout out by the way. My cousin, he played with Cozal. Adrian Weeks. He was acknowledged in the Union County Hall of Fame. Congratulations, my cousin Adrian Weeks, for making the Hall
hey,
of Fame for Union County football. He was on those three straight championship teams along with his brother Phillip Weeks. Those are my older cousins. So congratulations to him for making the Tiger Hall of Fame on Friday night after we played Trinity Catholic. We'll get back to this conversation in a few minutes. Let's hop into. We'll be here all night talking about that. We're going to finish this conversation tonight about why it's so important to have these games back. Let's go to last week action, week 9 action. We got a lot of games on docket. Union County knocks off Trinity Catholic 54-16 on senior night. This is their final home game of the year as they can prepare for Hudson this upcoming Friday. Ocala Vanguard and South Sumter down there in Ocala. 7-0 Knights over a Bushman. What a defensive slugfest that was. Only 7 points allowed in that game. That's a defensive game.
hey,
It could have either way, but
the defenses probably were taking advantage of the wind, man. I know. I don't
yeah,
know.
it was pretty
I
windy
thought
this
I was
past
gonna.
weekend.
I thought I was gonna freeze halfway in Citra on Friday night, man. I'm sitting up there, a jacket, pants, all the whole 9 yards, and I'm sitting there going, like, "Oh my gosh!" Like I gotta just sound like I, can actually talk still on the
And
stream, man. It was getting it. So I
I,
guarantee you they were probably having trouble there too.
I gotta answer a question right quick before we go to because a lot. Tony Lewis, my man. Listen, why did Union County not schedule Hawthorne this year? You know what? Ask Andrew Thomas that question. I don't make the schedule. Ask Andrew Thomas why he scheduled Hawthorne this year. Because he scheduled him last year. He scheduled him last year and lost. Why? Go ask him that. I don't have the answer. I'm just the guy who does the talk show on it. I don't know why he scheduled Hawthorne. Maybe because he has to be Hawthorne since to be the head coach in the county. I don't know. I don't know why he's scheduled Hawthorne. Maybe he's scared to play in the regular season. I don't know. Ask him. I'm glad you because y'all been asking this question since Sunday when I put this poll up. Who is the best team in North Central Florida? Which I will get to that in a little bit too. I don't know why the Tigers and the Porters don't play often because they usually do. I don't know, but we'll get to that in a little bit too. Newberry looking real dominant over the Indians of Fort White, 44-10. Newberry making a big statement in Class 2A as they push through against the Indians. What is going on over there in Fort White? The Indians are struggling right now.
So, speaking of some of them old school rivalries and everything, like Fort White was starting up back during those times we were talking about with Coach Pruitt at Union County and all of us guys in the early 2000s. Like we played some of those first Fort White teams, right? So, I mean, when we were talking about Santa Fe in our last show, we were talking about bring somebody in who has some of that history, who has some of that tradition that can build upon the successes that used to be there to help get the program back on the right track. Who is that for Fort White, though? Right?
We
Like,
don't
who's
know.
their
We
get
don't
right?
know. We don't know.
Right? So, I mean, that's just something where now they have to figure out what their path is moving forward. And I think right now it's just unclear. I mean, because if you're a talented kid in Fort White, could you go to Madison County up the road? Could you go over to
Right.
Columbia? Could you make the trek to Newberry? Right? I mean, you have
You're right there in the middle of them.
got options, man. So I think Fort White's just in a history and a location problem right now.
It's just they're on the wrong side of history, in my opinion. Some
Hmm.
great Fort White had a good team. They was really loaded last year. Was a top two seed in class rule last year. Lost to Union County in the second round of playoffs, but I think they'll make it. But I think they're one and done this year. Too many injuries, too many bad breaks for the Indians this year. Speaking of Indians, the Chiefs and Indians, y'all rivals. 54 nothing over Keystone Heights. Keystone Heights is a real bad spot too. That's another school that needs to drop the rule too. Is the Keystone Heights Indians? Um, they're not good at 2A. They're not good at 2A at all. I get they're a big school, but I think between them and Santa Fe, they both need to drop down the rule to play against competition that I know they'll be good against. That should be a solid scoring rule. If they play, you know what I'm saying? Keystone ain't got the biggest of players or the fastest players, but they're physical. That's what rule football is about. Physicality. You know, you ain't the biggest or strongest in school, but you have heart and physicality. That's rule football. That's the brand we show. So Keystone definitely got physicality. They will definitely be a good shoe in for rural football. So will be Santa Fe. A lot of these big schools, quote unquote, need to drop down the rule so they can play against people with more than their speed. I think they also bring a lot more ticket sales too. You'll put U County and Keystone against each other, or you know what I'm saying, or Santa Fe against you know what I'm saying. Teams more their speed. They're not high caliber seeding schools. They're not 2A caliber schools. They're not 3A caliber schools. They're only like it because of their school population. But skill wise, they're rural schools or 1A at the best. They're not no 2A or 3A schools like a Newberry who's playing like a 2A, 3A school right now. So
Right.
just saying. Just saying.
Heck,
Lafayette takes
Newberry's
care of
playing
Trenton.
like a real good school.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. LaFayette takes care of Trenton 47 nothing. Trenton needs to do a whole rehaul of that team. Swanee got an impressive upset victory over Taylor County this past weekend, 27-6. Taylor County lost two straight games to start 6-0. They lost to Florida High last Monday, and then this past Friday they lost to Swanee 27-6. Bradford gets revenge over Leon 43-7. Your game 20-14 over man over Williston. Hawthorne, impressive victory going down to Brady to knock off IMG White 35-14. Palaca shuts down Crescent City 35 nothing. Denali 48-7 over Wildwood. Eastside 38-9 over Sandalwood on senior night. Madison County falls short at Florida High 23-13. Let's talk about Madison for a second. What do you think Madison County is still a top two team in class with? So I was talking to Hunter Williams. I want to shout out to you by the way. I'm glad we're on his subject because he feels like the schedule that Madison had this year, there's no team in rule that could probably either beat those schools. So the most Madison had this year was to Pace High School, Florida High, and they just lost this past weekend to they lost to let me see who else you know
Pace.
They lost to Pace. They lost to Florida High. They lost to another school. I don't know who the third
Oh,
school
Lincoln.
was. Lincoln, Thomas Lincoln. So they
Mhm.
was saying that he was saying that Union or Hawthorne would not beat those schools based on who they played. I, I want to get your thoughts on that. Yeah, and that's the problem I hate about this because you have to go out of your classification to play other schools that you have no business playing. Not saying Madison ain't worth it playing those schools, but this is what I'm talking about. Why you not playing school that you know for playing? You don't even go to play in Pace. You don't even go to play Deland. You don't even play Florida High. Get there close to you. But now you even
Yeah,
doing it
I
in the same
mean,
classification.
and if you go back to that whole question about, all right, well, would you consider Madison still, the big dog
Yep.
in 1A and rural and everything, right? Well, you could take a look at both Hawthorne and Madison and their common opponent of Florida High. Florida High beat them both,
Right.
right? So, I mean, don't get me wrong. When I was watching some of that stuff, it seemed like Hawthorne was hanging right with Florida High until late in the game, and they pulled away and ended up winning by what, 2 touchdowns, right? And so
Yeah.
Madison kept it a little bit closer, but at the same time, I think maybe that's a little bit better matchup personnel wise for Madison. I'm not sure, but I would still say that Madison's got to be right up there with Hawthorne as considered one of the best teams. I mean,
I agree.
I wouldn't be surprised with either of them winning state this year.
I'm telling you right now. I want to read these messages that I had with Hunter over the weekend. Shout out Hunter Williams for we had a good conversation. I want to read you some of these comments that he wrote. We talked about basically talking about Madison County and Class 1A, and I want to know: do you think either Hawthorne or you kind of had a chance with the schedule that Madison had this year?
Well, I think both of them would have had a decent shot. I mean, what did Hunter have to say?
Okay, so I'm gonna read what Hunter had to say, and I want to hear basically. I really want to hear from the Hawthorne fans. And Hunter's actually in the live stream right now. He's in the YouTube comment section. I'm gonna read you the comments he has said about uh, Madison County because I do want to bring it to the forefront. Uh, So I asked him, "What are your thoughts on the rule rankings?" I said, "Mine or the state poll." I said, "Yours." He's like, "Overall, I feel that Madison losing a few games that are still the clear-cut favorite in what our football. There's a lot of teams, even at the top of the class overall, who wouldn't do any better with the schedule Madison has played, and most would lose more games than Madison has." So I asked him, "Who? That's a good thought. Who's Madison lost?" I said, "Florida High." He said, "Leaking the pace." I said, "Oh yeah, that's right." Also, having wins over Deland, Swanee, and Columbia definitely helps. Plus, they play a Apopka this weekend, who's, despite struggling offensively, is still a good win they can put it off. There probably won't be any one RTs with a better resume than Madison, and they could beat a Apopka this weekend. So, after hearing
I
those
agree with that.
comments, what are your thoughts on Hunter's comments on the Madison County and the rest of the field and what are?
I still think Hawthorne could probably have done as good as Madison with this schedule, right? I mean, because you take a look at the schedule and you go like, hey, all right, like I don't see anything that Hawthorne couldn't have really hung with, and Hawthorne traveling all the way down to Bradenton in order to show that they're capable of hanging with anybody, I think has to speak for a lot too, right? I mean, you don't make the trip to IMG and come out with a dub and not be able to hang with anybody in the state, right? It's just not that way, right? I mean, I can't think of it any other way. And if you said, okay, here, let's put IMG White on Madison's schedule, I think they handle their business too. But I mean, at the same time, I think Madison and Hawthorne can go toe to toe with each other, and it's might come down to who has the ball last.
Oh yeah. Like I said, the top three schools is definitely right. We'll see how really good those schools be when the playoff starts. My thing is though, how will they do the top 16 schools now? Because not doing how it used to be. They're doing the top 16. And you got right now based off what I'm gonna read you Hunter's top 10 in class rural football. and I want to know what your thoughts are based on his top 10. So the
Okay.
top 10 read from 10 to 1 in rural football. Number 10 is the Baker Gators, followed by the number 9, the Holmes County Blue Devils. Number 8 is your Williston Red Devils at number 8.
Okay.
Number 7 is Chippy Tigers. Number 6, the Pahokee Blue Devils. Then it's J at 5, Chiefland at 4, Union County at 3, Hawthorne at 2, and Madison at 1. What are your thoughts on that top 10 list that I just read to you?
So I'd say top four solid, right? I mean, really, you could even make arguments to interchange any of the top four, and people see the arguments. Like, I think the only argument I wouldn't take right now, and this isn't being a Williston guy, is I don't think Chiefland has a resume to claim number one, but you could easily say that Madison, Hawthorne, or Union County have the resume to lay a claim to number one. But I still think Chiefland is one of the best four teams in rural football right now, and
Right.
I think you're going to be fluid on the rest of the top 10 for the rest of the year, depending on how some of them finish. Because like I could see Williston with some of their injuries dropping to Newberry and maybe finishing the season 5-4. I mean, and when you finish the season 5-4, it's like you'd see that record and somebody go like, "Is that a top 10 record?" But they may have top 10 performance still. So it's gonna be interesting. But I think the top four is pretty set in stone, and we got a lot left before we're gonna figure out the rest of that top 10.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. I do have a special guest coming on. He'll be
Cool.
on in a few minutes. We will have Hudson Williams himself coming
Nice.
on he just wrote me saying, "Can I come on?" I said, "Yes, you can." So before we get let's continue with the rest of the action from last week.
Let's do it.
We got Hilliard knocking off Interlochen 54-35 in a shootout.
Okay.
You got Arcilla Christian remaining unbeaten after a huge win over Bell 36-21, a game that we talked about last week. Arcilla
Yep.
Christian looking real tough in rural football. Are they considered still rural? Because last year they was rural. Are they considered still rural? Arcilla
Let's
Christian?
let's let's look it up because I don't know for sure. I'm trying to pull them up right now because I even told you I hadn't seen much of Bell this year, and I definitely
I
hadn't
know
seen
Bell's
much of
not.
Marcelo Christian.
I know Bell's independent, but it's Arcilla Christian rule.
I'm trying to get them pulled up right now. Let's see here. This is rural internet for you right here, right? All of a sudden, I'm just sitting here buffering, loading.
That man said this is rural internet here.
I'm not in that Central Florida fiber yet. I've been asking them. I'm like, hey man, there's an unreasonable amount of money I'd spend for that. Who do I need to tell, man?
I'm trying to tell you. Did you find out yet?
Here we go. I'm almost there. Alcilla Christian. Here we go. So it looks like they're independent still.
This is independent. Okay. I know in other
Yeah, that's what it
sports.
looks like.
Oh, whoa. Based off what he told me, he said Hunter said Arcilla is rule. So if
Oh,
Arcilla
they
is
are now.
rule, why not in the top 10?
Huh. Okay. Well, they might be in it next week. Who do they got? They got SCCA. That's not going to give them any credit here. When you look at this schedule that they have, and their toughest opponents are Trenton and Bell, who are usually a little bit tougher, but kind of in their down years. I don't know that even at 8-0, you can really give them too much credit for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Uh, let's continue on before we get ahead of myself. I am shocked. We was talking heavy on this game last week. The Cocoa Tigers traveling to take on the Villages Buffaloes, and it was a shutout. 54-0 Cocoa over the Village. We talking a lot closer because we thought it was like a trap game for the Tigers, but Cocoa took the business ship and it went on to take care of business. 54-0 over the Villages. Uh,
Hmm.
Baker County defeated Satellite 37-14. Ocala Forest gets
Okay.
shut out by Davenport. Crystal River knocks off Weeki 14-6. Bronson still winless. They lose 42-32 to First Academy Leesburg. St. Francis still winless. They lost 30-12 with Legacy Charter. Oak Hall falls short to St. Joe's 16-15. Bellevue falls short of Matanzas 35-24, and Santa Fe falls to Zarephath 54-3. Uh, my question to you is this: I did a poll. I did three polls. My first poll question to you is this: out of the three schools I named, which school will get their first win by the end of the season? Is it the Bronson Eagles, the Bellevue Rattlers, the Santa Fe St. Francis Wolves, or none of the above? Who will get their
Well,
first win of the year out of those three schools, in your opinion?
I used to coach football and baseball at Bronson, so I'm gonna go with Bronson.
So you think Bronson will finally get it done?
Yeah, man. I mean, I gotta support my fellow Levy County school too, man. You know,
Well,
I, I, I tell you, I still think the kids over there deserve a lot better than what they get sometimes. Like there are some athletes in Bronson, right? The bad part is just you got to get 11 of them.
yeah,
11
you
of 'em.
gotta do that. So I did a poll this past Sunday. Who will win their first game of the year? St. Francis, Bronson, or Bellevue, or none of the above. And so far, through 9 votes, uh, with 66% of the votes, six of y'all said none of the above. The only school that received votes, Bellevue got 1 vote and Bronson got two. St. Francis did not get 1 vote. So I guess
Let's
Timberwolves
call
Nation do not believe in St. Francis.
let's call Bronson one because I'm one of the two. I'll still supporting them. I'm still like I may be a dub at heart, but it's like, all right, hey, if Bronson needs a fan, they'll get one out of me,
Oh, and welcome in the notorious Hunter Williams. Welcome to the
What's
high
up?
school football final, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm glad I was able to get in. And I guess since my name came up very recently, I guess I should at least defend some of my positions. So fire away.
Yeah, because there is some
Nah,
people from Hawthorne that's not a fan of what you said about this past weekend. So we were talking about your comments on Madison County schedule, saying that they 3 losses with the pace leaking and Florida High. Uh, do you not think this Hawthorne team would have competed against those three schools?
I think they would have competed, but I just don't think they would have beaten any of either of the three.
Why you stand on that? Because a lot of Hawthorne fans in the comment section wants to know what's your stance on.
Well, the question would be: is who has Hawthorne beaten that's on par with those three teams?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, they're gonna probably say, oh, they can't say Florida High because that's the Florida High, not Florida High. That's the IMG State teams that don't really count. Even though they're gonna say IMG is a win, I give the benefit of the doubt. The only teams they really beat will be Oak Leaf, and South Sumter. That's
Newberry,
the two wins.
Newberry.
And Newberry, and
That
Newberry.
Newberry win's gonna look real good in a
New,
couple weeks.
yeah, I agree. So the
Those
only
are
three still left. So Newberry, Oak Leaf, and South Sumter will be three justifiable wins.
those are good wins. Like I'll give them that. But for the IMG thing, IMG White is maybe the equivalent of maybe like a Trinity Catholic, or at least what Trinity Catholic is now. Like not past Trinity Catholic teams. Like this is not. You have to understand is when you're comparing when you talk about IMG, when you have three different teams. But the thing is, IMG Blue is their national team. That's the team that has all the talent. You're talking IMG White is basically the team that I guess parents pay to be able to say they have a kid playing at IMG.
So you think that so let me ask you another question. Why is Australia question not ranked in your top 10?
I guess it's
And
just
they're
like
undefeated.
I have doubts about their strength of schedule, and that's
Oh,
like something I've noticed with like a lot of teams out in like the rural panhandle. When you typically like many of them, they don't really play anyone that I could feel puts them on as the chance for me to see where they stand against the rest of the top 10. And that's kind of like the problem with some of these teams. Like they might be very good teams, but if you're not playing other ranked teams, how like it's a question of how good really are you? Like for White, they were
right,
in my top 10 until this past week when but
right.
I had to drop them out. I just like
I
I feel like
agree.
they're too bit inconsistent. But part of that is injuries. Like they've had injuries. Like they had that Buholtz transfer Peterson, who was really good receiver. I saw him in the spring. he showed flashes of being a really good player, but he gets injured first game. They have been without him ever since. Like he's
Right.
done for the year.
So my
And that's
question to
kind of
you
been their
is
issue all
this.
year. They've had injuries piling up. It's hurt them. It's like they probably would have been a better team if they were healthy.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I think, and like you said, and we were talking about Willis's quarterback situation. Willis's quarterback, is he out for the season? Robert, or is season
I haven't
up in the
heard
air?
yet. I haven't heard yet, but it didn't look good, right? I mean, I just didn't see anything that made me think other than anything other than this. Unfortunately, the kid's done for the season, and I mean, as a dad myself, and seeing a kid struggle when he's like looking woozy, getting up and everything, and he's taking a hard hit. It's like, hey, I, I mean, if it's close, I might would say it's done too. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, because the kid's tough, he's a competitor, and but I honestly wouldn't be surprised if I hear something, depending on what the family tells me it's okay to say, I'll let you know.
Well, let's go ahead and move on. We shift gear to week 9. I'm glad you're here, Hunter. We're going to go over week 10, and we're going to make our picks for week 10's football action in the area. First game we're going to
Sounds good for
do,
me.
game just went final down there in Ocala. Lake Weir falls to GHS 36-8. So congratulations to GHS of ending their 2-game losing streak and getting over the hump. They're at 5-3 now. Good win for GHS tonight. Um, Union County at Hudson. Your thoughts on that one? I'm gonna start with you, Hunter.
I think Union can win that game. Like I don't know as much about Hudson to be honest, so I can't really judge that. Like, but based on just like what Union has done over the course of the season, I feel confident that they should be able to get that win there.
So we got Hudson with a win for Union County. I'm not making the pick because I went to school there, so I'm not gonna be favoritism. I'm gonna leave myself out of that one. Robert, Hudson or Union County in this matchup?
Union by two tutties.
All right. Palaca 5-3 traveling to Keystone Heights, loses of 6 straight games. I'm talking with you, Robert. Palaca or the Indians?
Ooh, I've watched zero of Palaga this year so far. But honestly, it's hard to pick Keystone Heights in anything right now. Right, so let's go Palaga.
Hunter, Palaca, or Keystone?
I'm probably going to end up pissing off both fan bases with this one, but both teams both teams play very weak schedules, but at least Plaka has won their games. So Plaka.
But I'm gonna go with the Panthers too. Losing 6 straight games after start two, well, that was kind of bad. I ain't gonna say the next one. This was gonna be real embarrassing. Santa Fe at Bradford. Point spread, fellas. Hunter point spread. Bradford and Santa Fe. Before we get our picks in, do you think Santa Fe should drop the rule?
Oof. They definitely.
Oh, so
I don't know.
not only Santa Fe, but Santa Fe and Keystone should drop the rule.
Honestly, the things like Keystone, like they're probably like, you see that when they play light schedules usually, and they typically can win games there. I don't know. Like I don't know if necessarily would drop into rural, but I don't like there. I could say for one team that I saw earlier this year that I think would benefit from going to the SSAA would probably be like Ridgeview,
Ridgeview, yeah, I mean Ridgeview, like
and
that's a
maybe that's an
atrocity over there
option
in
for
Oak
Santa
Park.
Fe to consider. Is maybe going Sunshine State Athletic Conference.
Well, look what it did to Bell and Lake Weir last over years. They've done marvelous for them. I think both of them won state titles last year, correct? Both Lake Weir and Bell? Or
They're both
Lake Weir just
competitive
win
in
one?
it.
You said what?
They're both competitive in the SSAA, and in fact, I think West Nassau and Paxton are competitive there this year too. And both of them were struggling all the time when they were playing in classifications. So maybe
Oh
that
yeah.
would be something that these teams could consider.
Bluetooth headset went out, didn't
Yeah, Donald.
it? It's all good,
That,
man. It's all
that's
good.
all got the backup plan. Um, Santa Fe versus Bradford. I love your Santa Fe. Love the campus. Love the school. but y'all get me by 35 plus. I'm sorry, man. I wouldn't be surprised if Bradford don't drop 40 on you. I'm sorry. That's the minimum. I got Bradford winning 42 zip.
Yeah, I think the bigger question is how much running clock do you see?
They'll probably have run the clock late in the second quarter, probably. It's going to get ugly pretty quickly. And they're playing in David Hurst Stadium. Yeah. It's going to be a
Yeah,
sad trip for Santa Fe fans.
unfortunately.
Hunter?
I'll take the same spread as you. I'll take 42.
Yeah, I think it'll be shocking if they drop a score under 40 against Santa Fe. Now, this was interesting. I'm not going to have you call this one first. I'm going to have Hunter. Newberry traveling to Williston. This is going to be an
Oof.
interesting one. Robert, you're not gonna make a prediction, but I do want to hear your keys for y'all to beat Newberry. So I'm
All
gonna go
right,
with
I
Hunter
got you.
first. Newberry and
This is
Williston.
oof. No disrespect at all to Williston, and I would say that, but you probably can look at Newberry, and they probably are the hot team in the area right now, coming off that win over Bradford. Which I don't know. When you look at it, you can make the argument that maybe that Newberry should have been like that upset should have been a little bit more expected, but I don't know. This game's where is this game at? I
Is
wasn't sure if you.
In Williston. It's in Williston.
I'm thinking Newberry by about 10ish.
tennis. Robert, what are your keys for y'all to beat Newberry?
So, as somebody who never lost to Newberry, right? One of the keys that Williston will be able to be successful with is if they, what's the best way to put it, right? They got to remind Newberry like who the dub is and who brings the red hat, even though Coach Pruitt doesn't have the red hat anymore and he's got that Ohio State look on the helmet because we used to leave that mark, that red all across the blue, so they knew when we came to town, right? So if Williston can establish physical dominance up front on both sides of the line early and often, then all bets are off, right? But I do think that Newberry has some of the best defensive line play in the state right now, from what I've seen. So that's going to be even tougher, right? You're going to have to see some kids really step up, especially if Jazz Causa isn't there to try to keep them honest, trying to throw the ball over the top at all, right? We may end up having some actual like single wing football all game, right? Just line it up and see if they can't stuff it down their throat. The bad part is it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. So we'll see, man. But big key up front. If you're a fan of hard nosed, tough football, Friday night in Williston is where you want to be.
I'm not gonna lie, that is part of the key game of the area. I don't think I've seen other games that's more magnified is between the Williston Red Devils and the Newberry Panthers. My thing is though, if Williston could create holes in that front seven, which is hard to do, we have two
Mm,
Power Five offer D tackles. Uh, I mean, y'all best bet. I mean, if y'all could find a way to make plays and capitalize them and slow down that Newberry offense, which is flying all over the field, you could do that. You have a chance, but they are like Hunter said, they are the hottest team in North Central Florida. That Bradford win. I mean, me personally coming to that Bradford, I expect them to win it all. I
yeah.
thought Bradford was going to steamroll them, but I think Bradford overlooked Newberry. I think Bradford didn't respect Newberry. And I feel like they got hit right in the mouth. So what Newberry might do this week is not respect y'all. Y'all gotta hit Newberry across the
Yeah.
mouth. You gotta hit him
Yeah.
across the mouth, and you gotta hit him off. If you lay off the gas 1 minute, Newberry's gonna run right through you. So your goal
Like
is
you
to.
said, yeah, I was going to say, it's like you said earlier, physicality is rural football,
Oh yeah,
right?
that's what we
So you're
stand on for.
100% spot on.
The most physical team wins that matchup down there in Williston. Period point blank. The most physical
Yes, sir.
team will win. Coach Pruitt will have Williston ready. He will have Williston
Yes,
ready.
sir.
But the question is, though, is Williston ready for probably the most scary team in 2A? We talked about this on Sunday, Hunter. Newberry could be a scary opponent for a couple teams 2A. Bradford probably can see him again in 2A sometime early in the playoffs. So this Newberry cannot fall. This is so big for y'all, but even bigger for Newberry because Newberry lose to Williston after just beating Bradford 2 weeks ago. That's a bad look for Newberry. Could that Bradford win be a fluke? You know what I'm saying? You go to Newberry, up and down this year. You take a hard hit to the mouth on the road. You look at Newberry like, was that win against Bradford fluke? Was Bradford really just trolling with Newberry? So we'll see
Hey,
will a real Newberry team step up this
let's be
Sunday.
let's be honest though. You can't ever fault Newberry for losing to Williston. It's what we established back in the day as like the order of operations in high school football around here. Okay.
All right, so we're gonna move on to Hawthorne
Oh
hosting
wait, wait.
Orlando.
I do want to add one thing. Is like just because we talked a little bit about this when we were talking with that bracket. If theoretically, looking at how close the numbers are between Cocoa and Newberry, if Newberry loses to Williston, that could change where that potential second round game is. Instead of
Yeah,
Newberry hosting Cocoa and having them come up here, they might have to go down to Brevard to play Cocoa in their house.
that's a tough place to play.
That's a big
Like,
difference too.
and Williston got a good home field, but man, you can be in a small team. You gotta go down to South Florida. Hey man, you better put your big boy draws on. You gotta do that, cause so they have to do what's in front of them. They got the job done against Bradford, but they gotta continue to win out. So for y'all case, if y'all try to stay in the playoff fight, y'all gotta win out. Right now, y'all playing for better seeding. I think y'all still make the playoff, but y'all playing for better seeding right now. Y'all playing for better seeding.
Agreed.
Yeah, y'all don't want to be at the bottom of the pack. We have to travel to one of these panhandle schools, bro. You don't want to do that. Cause I'm telling you, when you gotta go travel and play against Northview a couple years back, it was a tough night for them Tigers. Cause that was the year we were
Sure.
supposed to play Hawthorne 2 years ago in the state championship. Matter of fact, let's get back on this Hawthorne Union County because I'm kind of venting right now. I'm so mad at my Tigers right now, Hunter. The last 4 to 5 years, we supposed to be in the state championship game, okay? We should have been there. We should have beat Northview. We should have beat Chiefland. We should have beat Madison. Who else we lost to? We lost to Madison again. And then we lost to uh Madison twice. Northview and Chiefland and Madison twice. We supposed to be in at least 4 straight state championship games against Hawthorne. Or at least play Hawthorne either the state title game or the state semis. I'm tired of finishing runner-up these jokers, bro. I'm tired of it. As a Tiger fan, I'm tired of falling short. We're in college football. We're like, you know who we remind us of? We're like Auburn falling second fiddle to Alabama over the years when Nick Saban was there. Every year we fall short foot to the big brother, and the big brother right now is Hawthorne and Madison, and we only falling short against those two schools. And now I'm kind of venting right now because I'm kind of mentally frustrated now. If Coach Thomas don't win a state title this year, he has to go. I said it once and I'm going to say it again. If we don't win a state title this year, he has to go. I
That'd
said
be
it.
hard considering he's also the AD there.
Yeah, but man, hey, Ronnie Pruitt was AD there. And he was AD
He
there. He
left for
wasn't winning
Georgia.
either. He left for Georgia. And Coach, and it was a rumor added that Thomas was thinking about going to Georgia for the rumors talking about. So hey, we need a state championship. It's been 20-something years since we've been in the title game. Okay? It's been almost 30 since the last time we won one. So, all right. I had to let all that out for a second. Had a vent. I'm just, whew. All right. Sorry, guys. Y'all pray for me. Y'all had a vent for a little bit. Crescent City at Pearson Taylor. Hunter, your thoughts on that matchup?
Oof. Two teams that I know very little about.
Me too. He the only one. We can always
What's their records? What's their records this year?
Pearson Taylor is 2-4 and Crescent City 6-2.
Crescent City then.
Yeah, I'm going to all us fans go with the better record.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go to some teams that we actually have some familiarity of. Oak Hall traveling to Lake Weir. Lake Weir coming off a tough loss to GHS tonight. Now, Oak Hall was a team that was went away from playing for their state title game last year. They've been up and down after RJ Fleur left for Union County. But Lake Weir was state champions last year. But they've been up and down this year. Man, I'm gonna give the Purple Hurricanes a 7-point win. I'm gonna Lake Weir this one.
I always think the turnaround's a little hard on a Monday, Friday sort of thing, so I'm gonna go Ocall.
Okay.
Yeah, it just throws the rhythm off. You don't get the same prep. You don't get the same routine. A lot of running a high school football program is establishing the routines and making sure the kids can fall into it and everything, right? Because it's like Monday's usually your shorts day, Tuesday, Wednesday, your hard hitting day, Thursday's your walkthrough. You don't have that extra rest time from a Friday night game to rest up on Saturday and Sunday. So I mean, where's your recovery period and everything? I mean, we got two pretty evenly matched teams, and one's coming off a short. You got to go with the team who's got more rest and prep.
I agree with that.
I'm just saying, man. Me personally, we're at an impasse here. Sorry, I'm thinking about something totally different. Uh, let's go to this one. Another team that's really been struggling. Two teams, Hamilton County at Trenton. This one right here, I don't know. Because Trenton's bad, but Hamilton County's been bad for a while too. But Hamilton County, 2-4, traveling to 1-6 Trenton. I'm gonna give the Trojans a 10-point win. Y'all boys thinking real hard about this one over here.
Well, I'll chime in and
It's always
say
tough
that
to pick.
oh, go ahead, man, go ahead, because I was pulling one out of left field.
I was gonna say that. I was just saying the fact it's always hard to pick two teams that are bad versus two teams that are good. It's like when the two teams are
Right.
good, you can usually find something to separate them. When two teams are struggling, it's really hard to find the window, like how you separate one team versus the other. I guess I'll give Trent a win just because they're at home, but I'm not confident in
Oh,
that at all.
See,
I
your reason is way better than mine.
I forgot to say this. Hawthorne don't play this week. Hawthorne got a bye week. I apologize. I'm scratching that game off. Hawthorne don't play Orlando Christian Princeton next week. So my apologies,
Yep.
Hawthorne fan. Thank you for correcting me. So who decided? Trenton or Hamilton County, fellas?
So I'm gonna go Trenton as well, but not for the reasons of home team win. Like just had a golf tournament where one of the folks I got to play with was the guy who runs the quarterback club over there. So I'm sending the good vibes their way to try to help him get a dub.
That man said, send the good vibes. Hunter, the
It's a
Tigers or the
vibe check here.
Trojans?
Wait, what? I
The
already picked
Tigers
Trent.
or the.
Oh
Oh, you did?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
100. Yeah. He went the home team. He went the home team.
All right. Dixie County at West Nassau. Yikes. The Bears. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. It might get ugly down there in Nassau County, man. I got the Warriors winning by 20 plus. Hunter.
West Nassau definitely seems to have like ride the ship a little bit in the SSAA this year. Dixie's struggling. I'll take West Nassau here.
Hunter. Robert.
I'm gonna go West Nassau as well, just because as a old Williston guy, if something seems pretty close, then go against Dixie.
All right, next game. One of the three teams I had on my list, Mainland, who just come off a state championship team, 3-5, hosting the Bellevue Rattlers.
Bellevue ain't getting this one.
Hey, Bellevue ain't coming nowhere
I've
close to
seen
winning.
Bellevue in person. Unfortunately, they ain't getting that one.
Hunter, I say this for silence.
I'll trust Robert's expertise on this. Loss for Bellevue.
Yeah, Bellevue gonna fall to 0-9. Now this is gonna be interesting. Well, Robert, you saw these boys play up close to person last week. North Marion hosted Eastside. Your thoughts on this one, fellas?
I'll let Hunter go first because I've seen both teams in person.
Honestly, I'd rather let you go first if you've seen both teams. Maybe you can
Yeah, you're
swing it one
expert
way
in
for
this
me.
one.
Hey, no problem. So both of them are playing a similar style of football. They both want to spread the ball out on offense, create some space, and but East Side seems to be more run heavy out of their spread versus the pass heavy attack of North Marion, where North Marion was very fond of your out routes, your flat routes. They tried to get their tunnel screen game going and didn't really get moving with it, but they did run some middle screens pretty effectively. They were able to then start running the ball with a little bit of success, but Williston had a lot more against the North Marion offensive line, where I want to say it was something stupid like 6 or 7 sacks that Williston was able to come away with Friday night against North Marion, whereas East Side was able to protect the quarterback a little bit better. So where is this one being played again?
This we play the Citra, yo backyard.
Yeah, give it to give it to Citra then, because if it's at Citizens Field, there's some there's just that East Side magic up at Citizens Field, and they would pull it out. But if I'm going with the home team then, because they're going to be real close. This is going to be a game that's a lot closer than most people will give it credit for.
So you say you got East Side winning or North Marion putting off the upset?
Wait, me?
No, I'm talking to Robert. You got North Marion
Oh
pulling
yeah,
the
no,
upset?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm North Marion pulling the upset at home.
All right, Hunter, the Colts or the Rams?
Oof. I'll say like one there was the one result with East Side that I come back to with this matchup right now is the one with Buchholz. They kept that game close for a long time when they played
Agreed.
them. So for that alone, I think the East Side, I think they're a little more battle tested right now. I think that's going to make the difference, especially on the road. I'll say East Side probably comes away with like a 3-point win.
3-point victory. I'm gonna go Rams in this one too. They're doing a great job down there. The last couple of seasons, they're on the verge of winning another district title. They have to win against North Marion to I think clinch another district title for I think the third straight year for Eastside, if I'm not mistaken. So this is big for the Rams. They should get the job done hopefully on the road to Citra. Ocala Trinity Catholic at PK Young. I'm gonna go Blue Wave by 10 because Trinity Catholic always play PK Young tough. But it's not the PK. It's not okay. It's not okay. The Catholic team of old, and it's definitely not the PK Young team of old. So PK Young is really solid this year.
John Brantley and stepping out there, PK by 14.
14.
Yeah.
Hunter.
I don't know what is off with Trinity Capital this year, but they played a tough schedule and they have struggled in most of these games. They're not just losing; they're getting blown out in these games.
Oh yeah,
I'll take
definitely.
PK here.
PK Young. All right.
Yeah,
Is
I'll
this
take
John
PK
Brady?
here.
Is this John Brady's first year coaching at Trinity Catholic? Not the father, but the son.
Oh,
I think his son is coaching now, not
Uh,
the
I'm
father.
saying I'm saying if neither one of them could play quarterback, they're not winning.
uh, let's do this one. South Sumter at Denellen.
Ooh, man. I'll let Hunter go first on this one. I went
South
first on
Sumter
that.
had a South Sumter had a tough loss to Vanguard this past weekend, while Denellen had a huge win over Wildwood. This was in Denellen, not in
now I think
Bristol.
about it, don't they? They both have a common opponent in Bradford, don't they?
Yes, they do. They both played Bradford this year. Denellen lost. Denellen lost by 2 touchdowns to Bradford, and South Sumter got blown out by Bradford.
Both have played tough schedules.
Denellen had a big
It's
win with
at
Florida
is
High
it
this
at
year, though,
Denellen?
too. Yes, and Denellen had a big win with Florida High this year, too. Let's not forget that win, too.
Yeah, I'll give Denellen the win at home here.
Yeah, just because of the fact they beat a really strong Florida High team who went and beat Madison County and Hawthorne. Those two teams played the state title game last year. I'm gonna give Denellen the benefit of the doubt because that's Florida High's played crazy since that Denellen loss. I'll give the Tigers a win by at least 10.
See, and I honestly think I'm only going with Dunellen as the home team pulling it out at the last moment. Just because I mean, yeah, you got some pretty good comps in Bradford, right? You've got home field advantage. Dunellen, after now seeing North Marion in person, they beat North Marion 42-0 at home just recently, and I'm just thinking it's like, man, I think Dunellen's going to pull it out, but it's going to be a tough one. I'd say 4 or 5 points maybe.
So I'm reading a comment from one of the fans. North Bend has no offense. Defense was what won the game last week against Williston. If they can establish some sort of offense against Eastside, it might not be a good night. So he got Eastside beating North Marion pretty convincingly because of the fact of North Marion's lack of offense. Do you agree, Robert? Because you watched them up close and personal last week.
So I think the Williston defense made the North Marion offense look pretty bad. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it was lack of North Marion as much as it was Williston playing lights out. I mean, because like I said, like I think Tim Taylor alone had 4 sacks. Right,
Wow.
like Tim Taylor is going to send the video of him against North Marion to schools, and he's going to go from like that fringe D1 guy to a solid D1 guy. Like he may not be talking about some of the guys getting like the big power four offers, but he's going to get plenty of offers off of that game film he had the other night.
All right, next game on the list. Uh Battle of two 1-7 teams. Ocala Forest versus Westport. Who's getting win number two? Yeah, look at Hunter's face. Look, kind of disgusted right now.
Who's the home team?
The Westport Wolfpack.
Westport. Then I used to coach there, so I'm going to go. Like I said, I
You
low
and this,
key
you and
support
this,
Bronson.
you've been having this like kind of heart for all these teams to coach at. You had a heartfelt for Bronson. You had a heartfelt for Westport. You just have this
I'm
soft
gonna
spot for your old stomping
Yeah,
grounds.
man. I mean, I see what the kids have gone through, man. They all want to win. Sometimes it just takes a lot to teach some of these kids how to win and what to win. And I
Yeah.
mean, like it's the process of coaching football is a lot more difficult than most people give anybody credit for. And then on top of that, most of them are doing it on teacher salaries. I mean, I'd still be coaching football if it was better than a teacher salary. So I'll tell you right now, I'd much rather be what I'm in right now because, hey, I don't have to work near as hard as the teachers do. I don't have to
Come
worry
on now.
about the emotions of the kids, like pay teachers twice as much and it's still a tough job.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I totally agree. I am trying to find my phone charger. My phone is up down on me. But let's continue. I'm gonna go Westport. I'm gonna have y'all on speaker for a little bit.
You good, bro? Lost you on the audio.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
gotcha.
All right, cool. So uh GHS and Ocala Vanguard down there in Ocala. What are your thoughts on this one?
Hunter, you go
this used to
first,
be a
man.
really good. This used to be a really good rivalry with these two. And you can see that Gainesville is starting to slowly work their way back up. Like they struggled for the last few years. They're finally starting to build a little bit of a positive direction in their program, but they're not there yet to beat a team like Vanguard. I like Vanguard by 14 here.
Vanguard by 14. I'm gonna go Vanguard by
Yeah.
14 as well. GHS having a good season, but Vanguard, they're on a mission. They won 7 straight games since the loss to Buchholz week 1. Vanguard has a point to prove. I'm gonna go Knights by 14.
I like it. I'm gonna ride with you guys.
Next one on the list. This is gonna be we talk about both these schools Sunday, Hunter. Taylor County at Gadsden County. What are your thoughts on that matchup down there in Havana?
That's gonna be based on what I saw, like I saw Taylor County this past week. It's like you were talking. I was kind of funny. You were talking about freezing this past week. I was up there in the Swanee press box, getting wind blown into me the whole game. But
Hey,
and I guess I guess we could. I was gonna bring it up. Like I think I did talk to you about that game as well over the weekend. But
We did, yes.
Swanee outplayed Taylor County in all three phases of the game last Friday. Gatson is gonna it's all day Gatson all day here. I just don't think Taylor County will match up with them any better than they did with Swanee, and Gatson County has better athletes.
That's gonna be a very interesting battle down there because Gaston County and Taylor County is on the cusp of a very tough field in two-way down there when it comes to playoff selection. So this is gonna be a big game. Taylor County, two losses in a row. Gaston County come off a huge win last week. Uh, I can't wait to see that game. I can't wait to see the score for that game. Couple more games on the list. Apopka and Madison County down there in Boot Hill. That's gonna be a good one. We talked about this 200 on Sunday. Do you think the Cowboys can get a huge win against a struggling Apopka offense?
I do honestly because the one thing is I did have a chance to see Madison earlier this season. The one thing that they did well, like that stood out to me, was the fact they could run that ball really well, especially like because like one thing I did see, Columbia was able to hold Madison in check when they rushed inside tackles, but every single time Madison could get the ball on the outside and run, that running back they have, I forget his name, but that guy was just he was burning. He was like he was burning for 20 or 30 yards. It seemed like anytime he got outside. And Apopka, they do have a good defense, but and I this is something I know from talking to some people down there at Apopka that has seen them play for years. They just don't have an offense, right? Like their offense is struggling, and they have to go all the way up to Boot Hill. I don't think Apopka can score enough to come out with a win here. I'd say Madison probably in the 7 to 10 range.
7 to 10 range. Robert.
another former Williston head coach in Madison County. Give me the Madison County by 14.
All right. So with that being said, I want to go to a couple more things before we sign off for the night. We had, and I want to get both y'all's input. Now let's talk about our game of the week options. I'm here for both of you all. What do you think is the game of the week on this list? So the voting still ends. It's Thursday night at midnight, by the way. Uh, we have Newberry at Williston, East Side of North Mary, Oak Hall at Lake Weir, South Sumter at Dunellen, or GHS at Vanguard. What do you think is the most intriguing game of that list? I already know your thoughts is you want to Williston at Newberry for Robert. What do you think, Hunter,
I
is
think it's
your
a
game
toss
of the
up
week
between the first two.
between Newberry and Williston and Eastside North Marion?
Yeah. I
We
think I
got a
did
lot of
vote for the Williston Newberry, but I say that was the second best.
we got a lot of football guys this weekend, guys. A lot to cover. My goodness, man. This is the longest show we have done in this show's history. We're at an hour and a half in, guys, and we still got people commenting in the comments. I thank all my commenters tonight. Me and Robert, thank you. Hunter, I would love to see you a lot more often on the show. I know you're a very busy man. This Thursday, I need you here again Thursday if you can. You're a busy man. I know Thursday's gonna be a big one. Next one we're talking
We'll
about.
tighten it up for you too, right? We'll get it down to what 30, 45 minutes.
I mean, no, no,
We'll shut up a little.
I love the long show. I love the long show. I mean, at an hour in, we still have 8 people watching. So we still got 4 people watching right now. So I'm okay with it. My wife is getting her hair done, so so I'm okay. I had one more poll. Who was the best team in North Central Florida? Union County, Hawthorne, Buchholz, Newberry, Bradford, Ocala, Chiefland, or Madison. Who are your thoughts on that one? I'm gonna start with you, Hunter. Who was the best team in North Central Florida?
I guess I'll go with the team I voted for and the one team on that list that is currently ranked in my statewide top 50, and I'm going to go Buchholz. You look at the teams
Why
they
would you go with
beat,
the
look
Bobcats?
the teams they beat, how they played. They have like obviously they have a few losses, like they lost to Manatee, but you look at how they have played in some of these games. I don't know. Like you may not have a team with a better resume right now. Like you can make the case for them. Like obviously Newberry has the win on Bradford, but then you start to break off of that and then go to Bradford. What wins does the Bradford they beat a Mandarin team without a quarterback and that also lost their 5-star receiver halfway through the game.
So as of
Like
right now, look at the list. U County has 38 votes. Hawthorne has 17. Buchholz has 6, including yourself, Hunter. Newberry has 21. Bradford got 5. Vanguard has 0. Chiefs got 19. And I just added Madison on the list, so they got 0 as well. Robert, who is your best team out of the team I named? Who is the best team in the state of Florida? Not state of Florida, Central Florida, North Central Florida.
So I agree that I think Buchholz has probably one of the best resumes. I mean, if you look at it that way, but right now I think if you were to throw all of them in, let's say take them to Camping World Stadium, right? Round robin, seed them all up. Who's going to come out at the end? I'd have to say Madison County's coming out at the end right now, right? Because you got a team that has a decent resume, but also plays like a tough, hard-nosed brand of football that could line up against anybody on any given night, right? And I think Madison would come out at the end of it, just right now, based on nothing except what I've watched and what my gut tells me that I'm watching. So I wish I had a little bit better for you, but yeah, Madison.
Well, I'm not going to say that because I'm a U County fan, but those are all great schools. Everybody's good at all outright. Uh, Vanguard's been a powerhouse in the Ocala area for many, many seasons now.
Mhm.
Madison's been the uttermost. Ashton Hawthorne been a consistent four, four for rule for years. Chiefland got Adam Gore back. They're back to their old ways. Buchholz's been consistent, even under Coach Whittemore. Even under Coach last year, they was one winning for state title game. Uh, U County's been there every year for the most part. Just can't get over the hump to win state titles. Bradford has got a resurgence over the last several years. So Buchholz, you talk about consistency, I would say between Buchholz and Hawthorne and Madison are in the top 3 when it comes to consistency. I say you can count top 4, but we're talking about like playoff experience and winning state, competing for state champion or being close, competing for state championship. You have to go with Madison and Hawthorne for sure. Buchholz, they're the tougher classification, but Buchholz, I mean, they seeded a fair share of battles too. Lakeland last year, and again in the state, bruh. For those who didn't go to that Lakeland Buchholz game last year, Citizens Field, it was a movie. There was no room for anything. You couldn't even stand at the game. There was so many people there again last year. And to see Buchholz fall short last year was kind of sad because I really wanted Buchholz to win. I met Miles Graham dad at Blaze Pizza in Gainesville one time. Great guy. Love Miles Graham. I'm a huge fan of Ernest Graham as a Gator. Huge fan of him as a player. I still got a picture on my phone. I'm gonna send it to you tonight, Robert. Well,
Yeah.
this before Miles Graham say gonna commit to Florida, but he was talking about going to Georgia and something like that. But he eventually followed his father's footsteps. He didn't play running back. He played running back at Buchholz. He played running back and linebacker, but that man's a freaking linebacker. He's a freaking linebacker.
Yeah,
So,
he looked good against Kentucky at linebacker too.
oh yeah, man, he might be the next great getting linebacker. Him and Shamar James. So, we'll see how we are against Georgia in 2 weeks, man. But man, it's almost 10:30.
you were
So I'm gonna get ready to sign off for the night. Any last comments for you, Hunter? I would appreciate you.
actually yeah, like two. I'll start with one because we're talking about Buchholz. You talk like we were talking about Union earlier about how their bad luck in the state, like trying to win a state title. Look at Buchholz the last 3 years, state semifinalists. Their losses are to St. Thomas Aquinas,
Yeah,
Lakeland, and Venice in state
Yeah.
semifinals the last 3 years.
Yeah,
It's been
that's
bad
a
luck for
that's
a
a
lot.
road.
Yeah, I mean, there's no other school that had worse battle outside the title besides Beals. Because Beals could have easily played 3 straight title games.
Yeah,
Especially they had Lakeland beat last year. They had Lakeland beat, but they missed the extra point. That was the only difference. The extra point was missed. It was shaped, and it was sad to see Beals fall short. But that was a team that's gonna eventually should have won state title last year. Because I think Bills would have beat Venice last year. I think Bills would have beat Venice last year in the state title game. As good as that Venice team was, Bills even better on both sides of the ball last year. Uh, Unfortunately, that didn't work out, and Lakeland won back-to-back titles. But Union County, and I say this before Hunter got on, man, 4 straight seasons that we finished either the third or fourth round. Last year, we blew a 10-point lead against Madison in the state semis. We choked against Chiefland 2 years ago. We lost by 10 to Northview in the state semis. I mean, the last 2 years we lost in the state semis. The year before that we lost in the regional championship to Chiefland. And the year before that we lost in the regional championship to Madison. So I mean, we could have been in 4 straight state championship games, or at least competing for 4 of them. I mean, it is what it is. But at this point, as a Tiger fan, when is it time for us to finally get back to the title game? So we'll see how we are this year. We look good. I mean, we didn't play nobody outside of what? Not really. We didn't play nobody really this year. Yuli's only team that gave us a pressure was really Yuli. Or yeah, we played Yuli. It was only tough team we played all this year because Trinity Cap is trash. Zarapan was overrated. Santa Fe was god awful. Keystone's god awful. Fort White was banged up. So yeah, our only major win was Yulee. So we'll see. Playoffs come around the corner in a couple of weeks. We got Chiefly in 2 weeks, so now really see where we're at. We can take down Chiefly. I think that'll shut up a lot of noise of who the Tigers have played this year. So I appreciate y'all guys tuning in tonight. Hunter Williams, I appreciate you once again. I would love to see you this Thursday night, man. Thank you for coming in with your busy schedule. You can put your socials down below. They want to follow you. Give a quick shout out where people can find you at, Hunter.
Oh, where should I put it?
You can put in the comment section on the stream, or you can shout it out right quick.
Uh, I'll try to figure it out on Thursday, I guess, because I actually was like, should I get the app for this like restream? Like, would it easier to do it on that? Because like I was doing this on Chrome.
I'm doing mine on Safari, so I might do mine on the app. I'll try the app this Thursday, but we're streaming so far doing well for me, Robert. I'm not gonna lie. But last week was stressful. We tried 4 different Facebook streams, a YouTube stream, and it finally worked out of a stream. So this is our new
yeah.
home. I want to thank Restream for once again powering our stream. Hunter, we'll see you Thursday. Let's shoot for 7:30 this Thursday. We'll do early tip off. 7:30 this Thursday.
All right.
Yeah,
So we're back in this Thursday
sounds good.
7:30. So Monday will be 8:30. Thursday will be 7:30. A little more convenient for you two guys. I know y'all both very busy. So
Well, yeah, because wife and kids too.
and say that again.
So,
Uh,
you know, my poor wife put all the kids to bed and everything for me tonight. So I know she'd probably be like, yeah, if you keep it to like a tight hour, I'll be like, but we're talking
yeah,
ball, I mean, it
we'll
is what
try to
it is.
keep we'll try to keep within an hour next time. It was really, really good show.
It was
Hunter,
good,
I
man.
appreciate you coming in and giving you insight for your rankings. If you want to find out more about Hunter Williams' rankings, well, I will have the rankings every episode. Lawrence Willing going for it. He's my inside guy when it comes to his rankings. The rankings look real good. I have no problem with your rankings. Keep bringing them forth. Uh, so I do have a comment that came in last minute. He's one of the coaches for Union County. Zarapal came in with the #1 receiver in the country. Yeah, we get that, but who have Zarapal really played before they played us? Like LaFan wasn't good at all. Who else they play? I mean, I get the stats are good, but sometimes stats can be misleading. Because stats can be inflated because you could have great stats against playing against trash opponents. You know, so I mean, Yeah, I get he was number one receiver coming to the game, averaging almost 200 yards a game, but you see what happened when you play against a real team. So,
Yeah, Taylor
uh,
County had a very high-powered offense out there, and then Swanee holds them to 6 points.
yeah, so anything's possible. Like I said, just because you're a juggernaut offense, any given Friday, you can be slowed down. Taylor County was a good example. Zarapath, good example. Come in averaging 40 plus points a game. Coming to Lake Butler, only scored what, 14, 16? So, but we'll be back this Thursday. I appreciate everybody. I'm going to give everybody a quick shout out for those who came in. Warren Zuck, I appreciate you. Solomon Jones, good to have you, my brother. Keisha Denise. Uh, who was Brandon Butler, I appreciate you. My cousin Chauncey Mays, I appreciate you. Cooley, good seeing you. Tony, my baby man, appreciate you. Soldier Barber, appreciate you. Anybody else I ain't forget. That's pretty much it. I want to thank my brothers, my new co-host. Hopefully, Hunter, you'll be around more often. I know you're trying to start up a travel softball team. I wish you good luck in that, my brother, on that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Robert,
actually, I think that was the YouTube I commented with on there. So I guess that one could be one of the socials. I just don't know how to share it.
but we'll figure it out. Like I said, we'll have a handle with all of our socials showing up at the same time, so they can follow us each one of those. We'll work on that. Hunter, I
Right.
appreciate you coming tonight. Robert, hey, you already know how we rock, man. Episode 2 together, man. We ain't gonna be
Yes,
on
sir.
too long like this on Thursday, man. Our wives will kill us.
Right,
Robert,
You
give
know,
us
right.
your
You know.
handles right quick for the people who don't know who Robert Mack is, man.
So you can follow me at youtube.com/at Williston Sports Station. We've got facebook.com/Williston Sports Station and on x.com at Watch the Dub. So we're just focused on all things Williston sports. So we're trying to record the history. We even had the 6U, 8U, 10U Raider games. We're going to be broadcasting tomorrow night from Lake City Middle School. So that way you can see the middle school conference championship that Williston's playing into. So it's just all things Williston sports, especially if you're a Red Devil football fan, and we're trying to get basketball and baseball coming up this upcoming season as well. So, if you like Williston, you like rural sports, we got you.
Well, I
if you're gonna
appreciate
be out
y'all.
there tomorrow, then maybe I should come by and say hi.
See you there, man. I'll put a little extra microphone out. You can come in and tell them what you see. They said
All
it's
right.
$10
That'll be a great
cash only
treat.
at the
Hey,
gate, so they're even charging me tomorrow. I'm like, all right, let's go.
that'd be a great treat. Hey, please, y'all, you go, Hunter. For real, I would love this to hear because I'll be watching. I'll be watching for sure that game on YouTube, and I will be commenting the scores too to help you out, brother. Don't worry, I'll be
There you
commenting.
go.
So
Appreciate
I
you.
appreciate y'all tonight, guys. Like, subscribe if you do. Follow the channel Jackson Sports Media LLC on Facebook. Follow Worldwide on YouTube. And we out, guys. Have a blessed and safe Monday. We'll see y'all Thursday